Welcome to another edition of Sci-Fi Journal presented by members of the Rhode Island Science Fiction Club. This is for November 2013. I'm Marc Morisseau. Also hosting the show today are Calvin Watts III, Jay Kingston, and James Hinsey. November, Turkey Month. Oh my goodness. We were just saying we were doing Welcome to the January show, and now it's
gobble gobble time.
Time is flying this year.
And we ain't getting any younger.
Speak for yourself.
All right, I'm not getting any younger. All right, lots to do this month. All right, as we try again, lots to do this month. And as always, we begin talking about the wonderful world of movies and a segment we like to call Popcorn Previews. Take it away, Jay.
Okay, great.
Don't freeze now, it's your time.
Starting right in, we're going to have 300 Rise of an Empire. Now this is, I thought that the 300 series was, or not series, but movie was a finite thing.
Right.
I thought it was just going to be 300, but apparently they did well enough where they're going to try and siphon some more money out of the pockets of the viewers. This one stars Sullivan Stapleton and Eva Green, and has to do with a naval battle.
Oh.
So that's the best I can tell you about it, because that's basically what the preview is going to show you.
Yep.
So let's take a look at the footage.
It begins as a whisper, a promise. The lightest of breezes dances above the death cries of 300 men. Became a wind. A wind, my brothers, of sacrifice. A wind of freedom. A wind of justice. A wind of vengeance.
Stop the march of my empire.
I will attack the Greeks with my entire navy.
There will be death and destruction. Yes, there will be.
Isn't that Guys in Diapers too? We talked about that a couple of months ago, right? Yeah. All right.
Yeah. But I've always liked the naval stuff on naval battles with ships clashing against each other, and so if nothing else, this ought to be good for a couple of shiggles,
That's true. All right.
So next we have How to Train Your Dragon 2. This picks up with Hiccup and Toothless 5 years later, and all the rest of the inhabitants of the Isle of Berk, and they're off on another adventure. And this preview doesn't show us too much, but it looks really cool, so let's see it.
You want to give this a shot?
Toothless, it'll be fine. Ready?
Okay, and that stars Jay Baruchel, Gerard Butler, and Craig Ferguson, voice talents.
Yep.
Excellent.
And that's not rated, but that's coming out on the 20th of June of this coming year.
Good.
Next, we have Rio 2, a family film, starring the voice talents of Anne Hathaway and Jesse Eisenberg. And it's the further adventures of Rio. So let's take a look at that footage.
Well, this year's off to a great start. Ow, ow.
People, we're birds. We have to get out into the wild and be birds, Blue. Let the kids connect to their roots.
Hey, wait a second.
It's gonna be so much fun.
Yeah! Woohoo! We're going to the Amazon!
Emma, what?
Next spring comes a journey of discovery.
I am an American citizen! Be afraid! Be very afraid!
Whoa, 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 buddy. Put the spork down.
And a reunion
We're not the only ones.
How amazing.
that will ruffle some feathers.
Who are you? Where did you come from?
Hey, back off. Daddy.
Daddy?
Look at me, I'm a grandpa. Oh,
Nice to meet you, sir.
you will call me Pop Pop.
Kids, go easy on old Pop Pop.
You can call me sir.
From the creators of Ice Age,
Come on, let's rock this jungle.
It's popping in the Amazon. Pop, 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 pop. You know what pop is backwards? Pop.
Yeah!
Ooh.
Walk it off, buddy.
Keep celebrating. I'll be pooping on your party promptly. It only works when I do it.
Okay. Love ya.
Rio 2.
Now that's a duet.
Now, I never saw the first one. What was that about? That's about the birds?
Yeah, it was the one about the birds. I never
Right.
saw the first one either, but apparently it did well enough to rank a second film.
Right. It sold
And,
enough plushy toys and gummy bears and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
well, it's good to have a family film come out every
does.
once in a while,
Yep.
you know?
Like every 2 weeks.
Yeah. A lot of these animated films are getting, sequel treatments because, they're finding that they're a lot of fun for the families. And then they can turn it into maybe a series too. Like Kung Fu Panda's I've been watching the Legends of the Kung Fu Panda on Nickelodeon and stuff like that. And the Dragon Riders.
Yeah, the
also-
Island of Berk thing,
Yep.
or the Riders of Berk, or whatever
Right,
it's
exactly,
called.
yeah.
That's pretty good. I've noticed that with the television show, though, Hiccup still has his leg. where in the movie he lost his leg in that battle against the big dragon that lived in the volcano. So I don't know whether they toned that down because it's on television for kids or what, and they think it's too frightening to have him have lost his leg or whatever. But in the second movie, How to Train Your Dragon 2, his leg is missing again. So,
Case of the missing leg. All right.
Yep. And last but certainly not least, we have Skinwalker Ranch, starring John Grease, Kyle Davis, and Aaron Cahill. And this is about UFO activity at a ranch out west. All sorts of UFO activity, cattle mutilations, but this one involves the abduction of a young girl, the daughter of the rancher. And it's a strictly science fiction film, and it is rated R.
So it's an alien abduction type movie.
Yep.
Okay.
And it is out as we are being viewed right now.
Oh, in November.
It is out in November as we are being viewed.
All right.
So look for it in your local theater.
So
take a look at that footage.
Finish our show first, then go watch that movie.
Well, there he is. Is it your birthday today? Oh, yeah, get it. On your mark, hey, go! No fair. What the hell is that?
How's the cameras coming?
They're almost set up. Kitchen. Camera 6 is inside the barn. That's it for the exterior cameras.
Whatever this thing is, I believe it's still here. And it's really smart.
I got motion detectors across most of the property, so if something moves, we're gonna know about it.
This is not a natural death. These incisions, they're perfect.
What is it? This is the tape from August 8th. 11:11 every night.
I don't think we can tell him. Ray, what time is it?
11:09.
Okay, we're at 10. What are you guys doing? 8. 7. We don't need to 6. 11:11. Nothing. How are you trying to help me? You're trying to help yourself.
They're on the roof!
How do you explain what's been happening here?
There's something wrong with Ray.
Turn down, Ray.
What is it doing? Are you okay, Lisa? Are you okay?
And that is all I've got this month for Popcorn Previews.
Wonderful.
I think it is.
I think it is too. Okay, let's move on to a wonderful segment of the show we like to call Game Over with Calvin Watts. Go for it, Calvin.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
What kind of tidbits you got this month?
So we are in November.
Yes.
And so the holidays are literally just around the corner.
Yes.
And that means for you home viewers, there's all sorts of stuff that you can buy right now.
They want to crank
for
it out
your
before
viewing
Christmas?
pleasure.
Right.
So if you want to, you can rush to your local store.
Did you say rush?
Rush. I did.
Okay.
Yes. Deliberately, I said rush.
Yeah.
You can rush to your local store.
Or you could hurry.
And you can buy these really cool movies, or not cool movies, depending on your taste. But Pacific Rim is out now.
I so want to get a copy of that movie.
Awesome
Yes.
movie.
Yes,
World
yes.
War Z.
Yep.
Iron Man 3.
Yes.
The Conjuring, which did very well for a low-budget horror movie.
Yes. That's not the one based in Rhode Island?
Yes.
Okay.
Monsters University. R.I.P.D., which lasted literally 2 weeks
Like
in the
2 weeks,
theater.
yeah, because it was a bad movie, that's why.
This is the End. And Now You See Me. So there you go. So that's a lot of stuff there. And for this month, on the 5th of November, we have The Hobbit Extended Edition. If you remember when they did the Lord of the Rings stuff just before the new movie would come out, they would come out with an extended version of the previous movie. It looks like New Line's going to be doing the same thing.
Right. Now, based on past experience, wouldn't it be better for consumers to just wait until all 3 movies are released and then just buy the super duper wonderful 42-hour extended edition so they get all that crap together instead of having to buy it piecemeal?
I would say normally that sounds like a good idea, but I'm going to say no.
Why, sir? Why?
I'm going to say to wait a full year until after all 3 films are released, because then they're going to come out with the exclusive director's cut.
Okay, and which is all true, but you are also talking literally 4 to 5 years.
I got nowhere to go
down the road. And there are other people who are fanatics, and the studios know this. Are going to jump at the chance. So if you want to see it, there you go.
But if you want to see it that bad, and you don't want to wait the 4 or 5 years to see it, Redbox it.
There you go. Or rent it or something.
If they have the extended edition stuff, Redbox.
You can get Mark's gift from Madison, Twilight the Complete Saga, all in one set.
There we go. Although she already has all 3 movies.
Yeah, I don't know. See, for me, the price of a whole set.
5 movies, thank you.
Boy, you don't even know how many movies?
I don't know. I don't care about that stuff. It's the,
what were you saying?
You went to go see them all.
I did, because I'm a dad. I'm good. So.
The price of a whole set is quite a lot. I'd rather get them individually over time because I can afford, like, maybe this one now, a couple months later I can get that one.
You have to wait for the special deals to come out. But I understand what y'all say. You all have valid points, and they're all true. So it's basically
Amazon
what you want to do.
Whatever you want to do. Sounds good to me.
So, on the 12th of November, one release, but it's a major one, Man of Steel. Definitely looking forward to that.
That's a must-have.
And the 19th will bring us The World's End and Planes. And The World's End is kind of cool because that's the last of the Simon Pegg trilogy, along with Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz. And they actually are going to have a release with all 3 movies in one.
Is that the one
That's
where
the
they
one
go
about
to
the pub
pubs?
crawl,
Yeah,
right?
the pub
Pub crawl and aliens with blue blood.
And December is going to bring us the Doctor Who 50th anniversary special. The Wolverine, which I just found out is going to be available as a regular edition and as an extended edition. There was rumors about it being like almost 40 minutes longer, but it's only about 12 minutes. But
that
still,
was a good movie.
That was much better than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, that was really good. I mean, the final battle was a bit contrived, if you ask me, but for what it was well worth your time and effort to see it. So.
And I also throw out Fast and the Furious 6 because now that's gone into the realm of fantasy, but it's still a good movie, and that's one of the biggest movies of the year. So that'll also be available in December. I'll give you dates when we get to December.
Sounds good.
Moving on to gaming news now. What could be happening in November? Do you have any ideas? I mean,
certain consoles being released?
It's just a slow month.
What about your little show up in Boston? Is that what you're referring to?
No. There's all sorts of stuff going on, but I'll get to that. I was being sarcastic and
being facetious.
Yes, absolutely I was.
Calvin sarcastic. How unusual.
Yeah. Anyways, so we'll start out.
Blow me over with a feather.
The PlayStation 4 gets released this month on November 15th. Retail price under $400, just barely.
Ian, save your pennies.
$399.99.
So, there'll be about 14 retail titles at launch. Highlights include Battlefield 4. Exclusive titles include Killzone, Shadowfall, which it would be nice to have a Killzone title that was actually good. And the Drive Club racing game that a lot of people were talking about. Also, many PlayStation Network titles, they've really jumped on the self-publishing indie bandwagon, will be available at launch. And for me, the highlight there easily is the Pinball Arcade. All updated titles, everything they've released so far, which is almost 40 pinball machine tables.
Nice.
Looking forward to that.
Calvin's not going anywhere. He's playing pinball.
So, you will need a subscription to play online on the PlayStation 4, and it is not backwards compatible with PlayStation 3, so remember that. So, having said that, there you go. So if you're looking for the PlayStation 4, there it is. On the 22nd, 1 week later, Xbox One releases. A little bit more money, under $500.
Yep.
So, About 19 titles are going to be available at retail, including Battlefield 4. Exclusive titles include Killer Instinct, the fighting game from Rare that was really popular in the 1990s. Forza Motorsport 5, which is their flagship racing title, and Dead Rising 3, which is probably the exclusive title I'm looking forward to. And right now it's really 50-50 on whether I'm going to have a Xbox One at launch. I have one pre-ordered, and you know just about as much as I do as to whether or not I'm going to get one. So tune in next month and you will find out. There will also be various arcade titles available, including like an updated version of Minecraft. As usual, you will need an Xbox Live Gold subscription to access all features available on the Xbox One, and there are many, especially with all like the cable and TV interactive stuff going in. There will be multi-platform titles released for both systems, and also including the current PS3, the Wii U, and whatnot. And a lot of stuff coming out this month, including Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. A lot of people are into that. Lego Marvel Superheroes. That's definitely one of my highlight games there.
Yep.
Batman Arkham Origins. That's out now. Madden 25, FIFA 14. And I got to be honest, I mean, you know, I play a lot of Call of Duty, and I haven't really looked into Call of Duty Ghost, which is the next version in this game. And I was reading a little bit about the premise today, and I'm pretty excited over it.
Yeah, it looks good.
It's set in the near future, and basically what happens is this group called the Federation hacks into an online orbital defense platform, which has like bullets, for lack of a better term, out in space, and they do a kinetic bombardment of the planet and pretty much decimate the United States. So we're no longer a superpower. Our infrastructure's been really messed up.
With a railgun.
Yeah. So, and
actually, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. So 10 years later, this federation emerges, and it's basically most of the South American countries have banded together to form a superpower.
Right.
They invade the country and take over most of the states and whatnot. So now we're a third world country fighting guerrilla warfare.
Hey, most of our states have been taken over anyway, so what's the difference?
The ghosts are remnants of our Special Forces team, which has been banded together under a retired U.S. Army general to fight back. And it looks really cool. So I will be getting it. For what system, I don't know yet. Most likely a 360, so I can play with my friends, and we'll talk a little bit about that in the upcoming months. What I'd like to talk about now is Grand Theft Auto 5, which is probably the last major game to come out for the current systems. It's still nothing for next gen, although I would really be not surprised if they had like an ultimate version come out, say next Christmas. I gotta tell you, I am having a lot of fun with this game. The story mode is so much more compelling than Grand Theft Auto 4. You have 3 characters that you play as, and it takes a little while to get into them, but each one has their own personality and quirks. One of them has a family, and it's a very dysfunctional family, and they all do their crazy stuff. And you got this guy who's like a complete psycho, but he has a psycho who has his own code of morals, and it's a lot of fun. There are so many different things to do, and the online component is its own separate game. But instead of just straight up like multiplayer where you just like team deathmatch or whatnot, it has its own story, and you can put together friends, and you can have your own robbery crew, and you can do different missions, and you can do races, you can hang out and do activities. It's definitely worth it. So if you were on the fence, definitely worth picking up. There's a lot of gameplay in there for the money that you're spending.
Good.
That's all I got.
Good. Sounds good.
Except
now
we are on to the second part of our wonderful trip to Pelham, New Hampshire for the Pinball Wizard Arcade. So, more pinball and video gaming goodness here, so check this out. Alright, so you're looking at the main entrance to the Pinball Wizard Arcade. As you can see, it's very open. We're just standing outside the entrance doors, and you can see there's a roll of pinball machines right here. You got pool tables over there. You got video games. You got all sorts of stuff. And for a space that has so many different machines and things to do, it's not as crowded as you would think. It's very nice. So we're gonna go check out a couple of the games and have some fun. Okay, you were looking at
at a very rare pinball table. This is Space Invaders by Bally. Late 70s table, wide body. It's really, really cool for a couple of reasons. The sounds are taken right from the arcade game. So when you hit like a bumper or a drop target, you have the arcade sounds. And as you can see in the backdrop, you have an alien, and it's a H.R. Giger alien ripoff, which unfortunately got Bally into trouble because 20th Century Fox ended up suing them, and they had to stop manufacturing this game. But it's an absolute blast to play. The artwork is absolutely incredible, and one of the highlights here at the Pinball Wizard Arcade. We still have more stuff to show you though, so let's go take a look. This is another pinball table which is beloved by pinball aficionados all across the world. Doctor Who, early 90s table. You can tell it's old because there are only 7 doctors. I think we're up to 11 or 12 now. So, but a lot of stuff to do. You can look at the play field, a lot of gameplay that's there, a lot of toys, a lot of fun. One of the harder pinball tables that they have here, but still a blast to play. Next to this is one of my all-time favorites, and probably my second favorite game on the Pinball Arcade, Creature from the Black Lagoon. It is a classic, very well-made pinball machine. Has some classic tunes from the 50s. The premise is you basically at a drive-in watching a Creature from the Black Lagoon. It's a very easy game to play, so if you're a beginner and you want to get into a game that has some bells and whistles, I would suggest this one.
It's Sailor Moon, one of the more rare games that they have here you can play. You know, anime games are a lot of fun too, and this is one of them.
Okay, some more classic video games for you. This is one of my all-time favorites, Dig Dug. Basically the premise is you're gonna blow up the monsters using your air hose, and you gotta, try and survive. A lot of fun for an early 80s arcade Atari game. Next to that is one of the rare games that we have here at the Pinball Wizard Arcade, Atari's Arabian. It's a new addition to the arcade. A lot of fun. Just before Atari kind of went under, so definitely not bad. And a favorite of mine, and also a favorite of Marc's, Burger Time. One of the reasons to own it in television back in the day. And this is an actual arcade game. A very simple premise. You're a chef, and you have to walk over the burger parts to knock them down and try and kill the bad guys and not get killed. And your weapon is pepper. You use pepper to stun them. It's a very simple premise, but it is a very, very fun game. Okay, this is the skee-ball section of the Pinball Wizard Arcade. Skee-ball is a lot of fun. Always has been. It's, a little kid. It's very simple. Get the ball in the target. So you got your standard skee-ball, and you can even dunk an alien, which looks really, really cool. And, it actually looks cool enough that I might actually try that. But again, something for everybody here. So let's go on and take a look at a couple more games. Okay, what you're looking at here is Atari back in the day, in the late 70s. They decided to get into the pinball business. And they only made a couple of machines before they got out, but they made some real classics. And this is probably the most popular of the Atari pinball machines. This is Superman. Even though they had the movie out at that time, this is based in the comic book and not the movie, but it's a very colorful machine, and it also holds the distinction of being one of Steve Ritchie's first games. Steve Ritchie is a legendary pinball designer and programmer. He went on to do such games as Star Trek The Next Generation, and this is just an incredible, fun, nostalgic looking game. Speaking of Steve Ritchie, here is his magnum opus, the legendary Star Trek The Next Generation pinball table. An absolute blast to play. There are so many modes on it that you can learn something new each time that you play it. A lot of different toys and stuff on it. This is also one of the premier games on the Pinball Arcade app that you can get for, the PlayStations and your Xbox and your iPads and your Android tablets. An absolute blast to play. And keeping in line with the Star Trek theme, over here we have the Data East early 90s Star Trek, which is based on the 25th anniversary original series. Again, a lot of fun to play. Not as complex as the Next Generation, but an excellent game in its own right and one of my favorites. Okay, now you have some of the newer pinball tables. For the longest time, Stern Pinball was the only manufacturer that was left in the world making pinball machines. And these are some of their best over the past 10 or 12 years. You're looking at Family Guy, Lord of the Rings, which is a highlight, one of the deepest rule sets I have ever seen play. You got James Cameron's Avatar next to that, Spider-Man, and one of my favorites, Tron Legacy. Lots and lots of fun. And some of these are set up in tournament play. They do different tournaments that, you know, if you sign up, you can go and do. And it's a lot of fun. All right, what you're looking at here is one of the rare games that we have at the Pinball Wizard Arcade. This is Mappy, which is an early version of a platform-type game. I don't really know a whole lot about it except that it's rare and it looks fun. Next to that, we have a Mr. Do sequel, the Do Run Run. That, again, another rare game, but it's in perfect playable condition. There are well over 100 classic and modern arcade games, anything from pole position to Mortal Kombat to Daytona 500 racing games, you name it, they have it here. The table you're looking at now is the most popular table of all time, over 20,000 made, and with good reason. You're looking at the Addams Family. If there is one table that people who are fans of the Pinball Arcade want, it would be this one. This one is especially cool because it has a modification on it. If you look at the DMD or the video section, this one is in color. There's a company out there called Color DMD, which are taking some of the classic pinball tables like Scared Stiff and Star Trek The Next Generation, and obviously the Addams Family, which is what you're looking at. And instead of having a monochrome type DMD, you have a color one. A lot of fun to play. A little difficult to get into if you're a beginner, but the theme is absolutely incredible and definite highlight here at the Pinball Wizard Arcade.
Time for, let's see, a section we like to call Toob News with Marc.
So take it away.
Moi.
Okay. I changed my name. I put on my spectacles so I could read. Seriously, here we go. There's long lost Doctor Who episodes that have been found. Can I say I got a hearty huzzah?
Yeah, huzzah!
Huzzah!
Huzzah.
Doctor Who fans are thrilled that episodes once lost forever were found at a TV station in Nigeria. Some people say Ethiopia, some people have said Nigeria. My sources have said Nigeria. We'll go with that.
Well, the fact that they actually found these after being missing for, almost 50 years.
It's pretty cool, yeah. The recovered episodes include the 5th season serials, The Enemy of the World, and Web of Fear, which both aired between 67 and 68 on the BBC. The stories star second Doctor Patrick Troughton as he faces off against an evil doppelganger, Yetis, and the Great Intelligence. So that's the first time we see the Great Intelligence, which showed up in the last year's Christmas special.
Yep.
According to a report at Ain't It Cool News, the recovered content includes 5 episodes from Enemy of the World and 4 episodes of Web of Fear. The tapes were reportedly unearthed by scouring overseas shipping records of tapes made by the BBC, and those discovered copies have now been remastered for release. And for those who don't know, the BBC had a habit of, after they taped the show and they aired it, they would erase a lot of those tapes. So a lot of the Doctor Who stuff from previous years were just, they thought they were lost forever. So this find is really good for Doctor Who fans.
Yeah, sometimes I guess they would use a film camera
right.
and shoot it while they were playing it, recording it on film to distribute for overseas.
Yep.
And that's what they've been searching for all these years.
Yeah.
And they have a whole restoration program. So, bit by bit, all of these will be released at some point.
Yeah, you'll be able to
It's
get
just
them
gonna
on,
take
download
time.
them and get them on iTunes
Right.
and DVDs.
They may
and
be able to make commentary tracks on them too.
Yep.
From some of the other older ones I've seen. So that's stuff that they'll include.
Yep, cool. All right, Sci-Fi Channel has another series coming out next year called Bitten, or Bitten, or however you want to pronounce it. It stars Smallville and V's Laura Vandervoot, that pretty blonde from the show. Supergirl, as the only female werewolf in existence. It's based on a novel written by Kelly Armstrong and is the first part of her Women of the Otherworld series. If you're into reading books and stuff, that you can check that out. The 13-part series, like Lost Girl, is a Space Network production that the Sci-Fi Channel acquired from Canada. So the people up north there, they give us the sexy werewolves, oui. It will air sometime in 2014.
Yeah, they've done really well with that, with the other show, Lost Girl.
Lost Girl has done really well.
There's wee-weeing on the table.
Season 3 looks pretty good.
I resemble that remark. All right. Helix is another show that's going to be airing on Fox. Jerry Ryan has joined the cast of Ron Moore's Sci-Fi Channel series. Helix, Ryan plays the role of Constance Sutton, the chief operating officer of Ilaria Corporation, owner of Arctic Biosystems, because this takes place in the Arctic. She's been described as charming and savvy and used to getting her way at any cost. Ryan rounds out the current cast of Billy Campbell and Hiroki Sanada. Helix is set to debut its 13-episode season in January of 2014. Kind of like, remember the movie The Thing? Took place in an Arctic base? Like this black ooze that invades everything, and that's what it's about. It's supposed to be really, really spooky. All right, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. gets a full season. ABC has announced that Agent Coulson will live on for at least a little while longer on the small screen, as they've ordered an additional 9 episodes of Marvel Comics drama to bring its season total up to 22. That means we'll be watching the show at least until the end of the spring season. No word yet if there will be a season 2. Review of that show, for me, okay, but not great. It's all right.
It's been a slow build-up. You know, they're going through these, character developments, which Joss Whedon is really great at bit by bit, revealing more about each of the characters, and then getting them to work together.
Yep.
So we'll see how that goes, and then I know it's going to be threat of the week type stories. What's threats this week? What are they going to find next week? But hopefully all those will build up to an overall arc or some big thing at the end of the season. For
I'm looking forward to them bringing in the classic enemies of S.H.I.E.L.D. like Hydra.
Yep.
And AIM.
They've mentioned Hydra, I think, on the show.
Yeah, they've mentioned Hydra once so far, but they haven't gone into the actual functioning of Hydra. But AIM Industries.
Yep. And the cameo by Nick Fury was pretty cool.
That was really cool.
That was neat. So hopefully they'll do more of that stuff too. All right. Okay, review of other shows that have shown up. Arrow. We talked about this the other day, Jay, on the phone. He's lost the murderer image to become a true superhero. So the first season was him not being afraid to kill somebody because it was kill or be killed when he was stuck on the island. But now, since the death of his friend at the end of season 1, he's decided maybe he wants to have more of a justice superhero type persona. He's not going to kill unless he really has to. So we're moving into that.
For those of you who have missed Arrow, season 1 is available on Netflix streaming.
Yep, it's pretty cool. It's neat.
Now, what about one of my favorite new shows? You haven't said anything about that yet.
That's because it's one of yours. What are you talking about?
Sleepy Hollow.
Oh, Sleepy Hollow is good.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Wow,
I like
Mark,
Sleepy
you
Hollow.
missed out on Sleepy Hollow.
They've renewed it for a second season. But what I want to know is, why doesn't this guy ever change his costume? The guy woke up after 200 years in he was dead in this thing, and he wakes up every week, unless he dry cleans it once a week or something. He's got the same costume on. Give him a change of clothes, for God's sakes. He's been dead for 200 years.
Maybe he just won't change into something else because this is what he's familiar with.
Yeah, I know, but he's going to start to stink after
Maybe
a while.
he'll disintegrate if he takes off his clothes.
Oh, that would be a nice plot twist. Yeah. The Sandman thing they did was pretty cool.
That was
pretty awesome.
That was genuinely even spooky.
Yep. So I actually like Sleepy Hollow, and it's been renewed for a second season. So there.
Your streak is broken.
Karen Velati out there watching the show, our good friend Karen. was busting my chops over that stuff. All right, here we go. That's all I got for Toob News. Let's move on to Wonderful World of Anime with a segment we call Anime Daisuki. Take it away, James.
So it's Anime Daisuki time.
It's about time.
Right,
too.
Anime Daisuki time.
Right.
Who's read Isaac Asimov's The Foundation
Not
series?
me.
I did.
It came out in the 40s as a serialized in some of the magazines, but then came out as novels in 1950s. In Japan, they are going to publish a manga of Isaac Asimov's The Foundation.
That's interesting.
Yep. It's titled Ginga Teikoku Koboshi.
Why don't you just call it Foundation?
Well, because then, it's not Japanese. It's being translated by Hiroyuki Okabe, and it's published by Side Ranch and a group called the Selden Project. So that's going to be very interesting. They're going to take the story of Harry Selden, and it'll be like the Galactic Empire has been ruling for 12,000 years, and he tries to gather the wisest men in the galaxy to try to provide hope for the bleak future that awaits them. But, we'll see how the Japanese handle the concept of psychohistory.
That's going to be a big book.
It'll be interesting to see because the book itself, if you've ever tried to read it, can be very dry and it's a very hard read.
How many pages?
Now,
the book's pretty...
It's with the whole series?
No, just of like the first book.
The first book was about 400 or 500 pages, I think.
Yeah. Paperback is probably about 200-300.
Yeah.
And then there's Second Foundation and Empire. Mm-hmm. Right. And then there's Foundation's Edge and all the others after
it's
that.
much easier to appreciate if you listen to it.
Okay.
But, very few science fiction novels have gotten this treatment of manga as a manga. One of the other ones that I'm trying to acquire, and maybe it's more of a graphic novel than a manga, is Two Faces of Tomorrow, written by James P. Hogan. I've seen it on a comic book shelf, and I missed picking up. But all right, on to more. At the website Gundam.info, they are going to be streaming the new Gundam anime series, Gundam Build Fighters, which is a story of these people who build Gundam plastic models and then have these what they call Gunpla battles. And this is a series that just started here this month in October in Japan. And so it's going to be streaming on Gundam. During the final episode of Space Battleship Yamato 2199, the anime that aired in Japan, it revealed that a new film will be that has been greenlit for next year. So there'll be more Uchu Senkan Yamato in 2014.
Comet Empire.
Now, is that going to be a live-action film, or is that going to be
for an anime?
Okay.
So, I mean, it could go beyond, what 2199 has done, and do another story like redoing Comet Empire, or it could be a whole new story. They could take it some other direction.
Space Battleship Yamato actually did get finally the film from 2010 did get a release here in the U.S.
Yes. Oh, nice! So you can pick it up.
For literally not a home video, like a theatrical release.
Oh, all right.
For literally like 2 weeks in like
in
5 cities.
4 or 5 cities.
That's it.
Yeah.
Now, was it
so I didn't bring it up because there was
or
no
was it subtitled?
Subtitled.
Yeah, that's the way to go.
All right. So it's not a dub. And hopefully the success of that may encourage it to be in theaters and in other places, hopefully. Let's see. Production IG, a company that produces anime, they released some images of production art from their Snake Plissken anime. So
nice.
And it's been posted on Ain't It Cool News. So if you want to go to Ain't It Cool News and check out this artwork that they have from this Snake Plissken Escape from New York story. Some of it looks pretty great.
They tried doing a comic book a few years ago.
Well, they were going to
Didn't
do
work.
a whole thing. It was going to be a comic book. They had started working on a video game, along with the stuff that James was talking about, and it all kind of fell through. But it looked like they had some really interesting premise.
Yeah, and this was from about 10 years ago. You ever thought about all the different foods that you might see in different anime?
Well, let's think about this.
Yes.
Have I thought about all
Let's
the
see, there's meat buns, and there's meat buns, and there's
rice balls,
rice balls.
There's miso soup.
There's rice.
Well, guess what? There's a website where you can actually go and check out the recipes for all these different foods and make them yourself.
For the animated versions?
Make your own real, like, curry pan, which is curry stuffed in a bread roll like thing.
Yep.
Things like that.
Or you can go to some of the local stores that carry anime and pick up some Pocky.
There we go.
Yeah.
Pocky.
I've seen an online recipe to make your own Pocky too. So you can make your own and things like that. So the real anime food Tumblr is out there if you want to look for it, and you can make all kinds of stuff. If you're into the culinary arts.
That's pretty cool.
That is neat.
Yeah. And that's it for Anime Daisuki this month. And the Quidditch Regionals for the Northeast is happening in Rochester, New York.
That's close.
In the middle of November.
You
I hope to get there.
In the middle of November. Oh, they might get do they play in the snow?
Chilly. Yeah, they'll play in the snow. They play in the rain.
There's a very good chance of snow in November in Rochester.
Yeah,
absolutely. That lake effect stuff is dangerous.
I just drove up with the India Point Ashwinders last weekend in the middle of the rain up to Clark University to play them, and so got very wet. But they got 3 games.
They were all college kids. They have fun.
Yeah.
It's good exercise, if anything, you know. So,
especially if you're the snitch. Run, dude, run. That's right. Okay, and that's all you got?
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, now let's get ready for a segment we like to call Toys, Props, and Other
Stuff.
Oh, I like that one. That's good. Although it's Thanksgiving this month, so let's try a turkey theme. Toys, Props, and Other... There we go. That works too. So whenever the camera people are ready, we can point on something and
my poor wife is sitting over here saying, I can't believe I married this schmuck.
I know.
So there's Beautiful Creatures, the novel that the movie's based on. If you're interested in reading that, it's set down in the South, and the young girl discovers that she's part of a magical family and has to deal with family's angst and local boy who has interest in her and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then there's George R.R. Martin's A Dance with Dragons, the 5th Game of Thrones novel.
Yeah, you're really into that series.
I borrowed it from the library so I could read it. Even though right now the paperback is just out, if you want to pick up the paperback. And then there's Quidditch Through the Ages. It's one of the little side books that J.K. Rowling wrote, along with the Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, and the Tales of Beetlebard. So you can pick up that set if you want. But this happens to be the Quidditch Through the Ages, and it talks about the history of Quidditch and stuff like that.
Okay. Some DVDs? Go ahead.
Going from left to right or right to left, depending on how you're looking at the TV. The Xbox 360 version of Grand Theft Auto 5, like I said in my segment earlier, it is an excellent game. It is a must-buy, one of the top contenders for Game of the Year. Having a lot of fun with it, and if you had any interest in any of the Grand Theft Auto games before, you will love this one. Definitely go check it out. Next to these are Blu-ray versions of some current or popular movies. World War Z, starring Brad Pitt. Iron Man 3, starring the usual cast. And Shaun of the Dead, which is one of the Universal Steelbook releases that came out in midsummer. I picked it up because it was at a reasonable price.
Yeah.
Free in my case.
There you go.
And it has a Blu-ray, DVD version, and a digital copy. In fact, I think we're going to be watching that tonight at the Halloween party.
I believe so, yep, as we take.
Now, I have a question really quickly for you, Calvin. The Grand Theft Auto 5, is that patently an adult game?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah,
so this is
sure.
not something
Well, all
for
the
kids.
Grand
Well, I
Theft
can
Autos.
tell you there are a ton of kids who are under 17 playing this game, but oh yeah, absolutely a mature rated game.
Right.
And there are some very explicit things going on there, not for kids.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. And then this is my jacket I got from a friend of mine who was in Florida and didn't fit them. So it's a track jacket that says Hogwarts on the back, right? And has the Hogwarts school crest on the front. So I've been wearing this almost every day to work as it's getting cooler in the season.
There you go. Nice. All right, now we're going to go to, we're going to this one? Yeah, we are. Okay. DC Comics just finished up their Forever Evil series. Calvin, you've been reading that one?
Their Forever Evil month is just finished up. The series is a monthly series, so it's still ongoing.
So it's still ongoing. Okay, well, these are some of the books with what they call lenticular or 3D type covers. And this one was Mongol, which was part of the Green Lantern series. That was a good one. I like this particular one. And then for the Justice League, they had an issue based on Dark Side, which was kind of funky, cool, and groovy. Wait, cover the ball spot. All right, there we go. And then another Green Lantern story with a character called Relic, who pretty much decimates the Green Lantern Corps in upcoming issues. Some of the stories were good. Some of them were so-so. Some of the artwork on some of those comics was absolutely awful. It was really, really bad.
Forever Evil is going to change the DC universe as we know it. I haven't really commented on everything because I want to see how it all plays out because they've really messed up my favorite character, Nightwing, by revealing his true identity to the world and to all the villains and to everybody. And basically, the crime syndicate saying that they're going to go after his family, his friends, and kill basically everyone that he cares about.
Right.
And anybody who knows anything about Nightwing knows who his family and friends are. So.
Interesting how it plays out.
Yeah, so the Justice League are out of commission. I know the Teen Titans try to go up against them in episode 2 and basically get their butts kicked.
Right.
So we'll see how it plays out.
We'll see how it plays out. Okay. And let's see. We want to bring up information about another segment of the show that we're going to do periodically, and that's about what's on your e-reader. There's a lot of people who have e-readers, Nooks and Kindles and Android tablets and iTunes and all this other stuff. So we might do a segment about that as well.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. And a lot of the stuff is all intershared. You know, like my wife has a Kindle Fire, and I have
your wife, Leslie Watts, who is the new vice chairman of the Rhode Island Science Fiction Club.
And,
shameless plug, Leslie.
So I have a Kindle app on my iPad, but we can share stuff. So I mean, there's so much interconnectivity
and I
nowadays.
have a Kindle Fire, so.
Yep. Okay. So watch for that in future shows.
And stuff you can get from the library.
Yep, you can download books from the library right onto your e-reader.
Funky, cool, and groovy. All right, if you want to get in touch with us, our website is www.risfc.org. We have a Twitter feed, which is @RISFC, so send us a Twitter if you do that. Our next Rhode Island Science Fiction Club meeting is going to be Saturday, December 14th, 2013. It's our annual holiday party. So go to our website under the meetings section for more information about that. Check the end credits for more info on how to get in touch with us, because we have other ways too. If you don't catch us on Rhode Island Public Access, you can catch us on YouTube, because we have a YouTube channel.
And we have some new viewers in Fergus Falls, Minnesota.
Very nice. Minnesota. Yeah.
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 Oh, yeah.
And Deerfield,
we just lost that crew.
No, Minnesota's an awesome state.
I'm a Minnesotan native, you know, so.
That's right.
You're got an in with me.
Yeah. Very nice. Okay, and as always, that's going to be it this month for the November 2013 edition of Sci-Fi Journal. Thank you very much for watching. Have a nice, happy Thanksgiving holiday, family and friends and people you love and all this good stuff. And we will
football.
And football.
Unless you're a Giants fan.
And what's that?
Shouldn't have said that.
I didn't hear it.
I said unless you're a Giants fan. As of right now, they're like 0-5, 0-6.
Sorry.
0-6.
That's pretty bad.
Okay. Have a nice holiday, and we will see you next month with footage from Rhode Island Comic Con. Yes. Thanks.